You are a superstar. Symbol of a woman who be working for herself. You are a superstar. Owamie, Owamie. Owamie, Owamie. You a vlogger, fashion over. You a being one less than a mugoza. Owamie, Owamie. Owamie, Owamie.
Hi ninjas, how are you guys doing? It's Owamie aka Miss Fear for coloring back for our entertainment. If the first time joining me, most definitely welcome. Please do make sure that you subscribe and obviously hit the bell. I absolutely love you, and do not forget follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. It's at boldly Owamie. Now, my ninjas, today we need to get into this Chendesh Babam. Okay, so we're gonna talk about MacG and the fact that Ugai was actually trending on Twitter. When I saw him trending on Twitter and I saw people being very negative, a lot of people being very negative towards him and not necessarily the podcast, I was like, I know Twitter be negative as hell, okay? So I did go to the episode, I followed the last episode that was uploaded that they shot in studio, and I just wanted to find out like what is going on. Obviously, I did go to the comment section. I couldn't watch the whole episode, guys. Like, it's been crazy, okay? I've been going through it. But I just wanted to kind of see like the vibes in the comment section, because I was like, I know Twitter is just a negative space. Now, when I tell you guys that I was literally shocked, let me go ahead and just read maybe the first, just for you guys to get, like, I just clicked on the video. These are just the first comments, so probably I'll just read the first 5 or 6 comments. The first one says, MacG is killing the content as much as it's boring. From time to time, educational chats make the podcast wholesome. The second one said, being a chiller from Zambia for 4 years straight, this is the first time ever I feel like not defending MacG. Someone then said, the next comment said, MacG needs to understand that he's got a very diversified group of chillers. We're here for diverse chats and topics. Don't shut your co-hosts down when they raise topics you're clueless about. Saul is smart and he reads a lot. We want to hear his mind now and then. Yes, the jokes are fun and all, Mara, don't shut down other topics bachanas, okay? Then the fourth one says, what MacG did to his colleagues, more particularly Ghost Lady, and the fact checker was condescending. We apologize on his behalf as chillers. Thanks to Saul for having the presence of mind to diffuse the situation. Lastly, we as chillers enjoy those boring topics. In fact, we're here for them. May MacG's immaturity not be the downfall of the podcast. He is cool, but we must learn to respect. He must learn to respect his colleagues and understand the podcast is not only about his interests. Kind regards, concerned chiller. The last one I'm gonna read says, Saul is going to quickly outgrow the podcast at this rate. MacG cannot always dictate the direction the conversation must follow. The conversation needs to be organic, spontaneous, and engaging. If Saul leaves and start his own thing, I will completely understand. MacG is behaving like that kid who owns the soccer ball. Now, guys, if you just go to that episode and read the comments, they were so negative towards MacG. So from the sense that I'm understanding here, because as I said, I did not have the time to sit down and watch the whole podcast, and I did read more comments because I was quite surprised. This is the first time ever that I have seen chillers like be in that way towards MacG, especially even in the comment section, right? Is that does seem like there was a topic that was being introduced and MacG just felt maybe it was not entertaining and that was not something that he was interested in, and so maybe he did shut them down. I don't know how he did it, the manner that he did it, but there were people that were, obviously, as you guys had the comments, if you read more, if you just go and watch the actual episode, I'm sure that you will get the gist of everything. More comments as I was reading down, they were talking about how MacG is like that kid in the sports, or in the soccer field that owns the ball, and so, like, you know, everyone should just, you know, But I feel like the other part again, you guys, and this is not even me defending MacG. As I said, I couldn't watch the whole podcast. I tried to watch, but I was not getting to the part that I saw people were talking about, right? One thing I do know for a fact is that being a content creator is something that is so difficult. People don't get how difficult being a content creator is. I think that there's already also an element of people know that the podcast belongs to MacG. So there are certain people that when they look at the things that he says, even in whatever manner that he can actually say them, I feel like there are certain people that will be like, oh, it's because it's your podcast. It's because it's your podcast. And sometimes it's not even honestly all about that. Okay, yes, I feel like maybe this can just be a learning curve for MacG to say that, okay, it means chillers are interested in educational content, then it means we're gonna also then introduce it, we're gonna then also, you know, put it in there because chillers are saying that's something that sorry, wow, that they're saying that they're also interested in. But do I think that there was any malicious way for him to I don't think so, guys. Like, I don't know. I feel like when you're a content creator, there's a time that you get very comfortable with your people. There's a time that you get very comfortable and you just automatically think that your followers know you. You know, your followers know you. They know your heart, they know your mind, they know you're not this type of a person, you are this type of a person. And it's hurtful and sometimes very much shocking when you do find out that, oh my gosh, the way that I was thinking people knew me, it's not the way that they actually know me. You know, it means that, you know, there's some of the people are still looking at me in this way. I would understand if people were bummed that maybe he cut down a conversation that was supposed to be had, and I think it's something that can easily be corrected in terms of MacG can just simply, you know, obviously reintroduce the same topic and it can be discussed at length and chillers can get what they want, and he can also learn that, okay, it means that chillers want educational content. Do you understand? But for people to talk about how, oh, you know, if Saul was to now break away and do his own thing, I would understand it this time. The way he's treating his colleagues is condescending, you know, is this and that. I have never watched and got a sense of MacG's like the boss or the owner of the podcast when it comes to like Ghost Lady and Saul. I feel like they both all of them, they bring in certain aspects. Now obviously MacG is louder. I feel like, you know, obviously he's the one with the laugh and whatever and the buzzer and all that. So obviously I feel the attention will be on him a bit more. But I've always felt like when it comes to that working relationship, it has always seemed to me, by the way, like we're just all working. Whatever happens behind the scenes, I don't know. But on camera, what the sense that I've gotten is that this is our podcast. We're all doing this. We will agree to disagree on some things, but do you understand what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man, I mean, I feel like as a content creator, if that was something that was happening to me, I would definitely be like, wow, because that was like just a lot. That was honestly just a lot. And so I do hope that whenever MacG is, like, his mental health is okay, and maybe he can then, you know, just choose to address this, because I don't think that there was any maliciousness involved. And if there's anything that I can also just say to you guys out there, whether you're a chiller, you're a ninja, because I do know that I do have a lot of ninjas that are also chillers, just because a content creator makes a mistake, it does not make them a horrible person. And at the end of the day, guys, we're all just human. There are times where I can say something that is going to be off and people are gonna sometimes maybe interpret it in their own way. It does not make us horrible people. It just means that maybe we did not see the same thing the same way, and there's always room for change. There's always room for change, because remember, when it comes to like YouTube, we are not having those companies that are out there that go out there and spend a lot of money in looking at, okay, this is the things that people like to hear, these are the things that people don't like to hear, so you can't say this on camera. This is free reign. We are out here. I can have an opinion about something now and not necessarily think of the other stuff that maybe also affect this and concern this, concerning this particular topic And when you guys actually show me, that is when I'll be like, oh yes, I was wrong, I am sorry, and we keep it moving. This whole idea of, oh, when a content creator says something or does something that maybe people just feel like, oh, it's not, you know, for someone to even say he's killing the podcast, I felt like, wow, like that's like literally taking it way too far. MacG is also human. He will make mistakes. He maybe made one now. He's still gonna continue making mistakes because he's human. It's a human thing. We're all human. And so I'm not just saying this for MacG. I'm saying this for any content creator that you love. You know, I mean, as long as we're not out there killing people, raping children, or raping humans, or sleeping with people's husbands, like, you know, those are stuff that, you know, like, just for someone to say something. But anyway, I love you, ninjas, and I do want you guys to go and comment down below what you guys think of this whole situation. Did you watch the podcast? How did you feel about it? And do you agree with me to say we're all human, guys? Like, we make mistakes. And yeah, I just have to say, guys, like, if I'm not mistaken, MacG is not on Twitter because of he was getting so much attacks, and I'm sure that was also affecting his mental health. So now imagine when that energy, sort of like almost that energy, is now coming to YouTube, because remember, the moment this happened and it was trending on Twitter and people were agreeing on the horrible things that MacG is doing, what that did was that it also got those haters that are on Twitter to go to YouTube and type whatever it is that they could type. And unfortunately this time they got with some chillers, because chillers were just not having it when it came to this episode. I honestly don't know what is it that he actually said that got people so upset, but all I know is that, guys, like, yeah, as a content creator, this can honestly like be hard on you. And the whole ideology of, oh, if Saul just broke away from the podcast, he would do so much better. Personally, I think that's a lie. And not that I'm saying Saul is not talented enough. I love Saul. He's the sweetest. The same way that I feel if Saul was to leave, the podcast would go down. It wouldn't grow at the rate at which it has been growing, even if it's just with MacG and Ghost Lady. Or even if Saul decided to leave and he left with Ghost Lady, or he left by himself, his podcast would not grow at the rate that the podcast and chill with MacG is growing. And let me tell you something, or let me tell you why. Saul, MacG, and Ghost Lady, they are the perfect fit. And the reason why the podcast grew so much is because each and every one of them holds a very strong place. And it all complements each other when it comes to everything over there. It complements each other. And so now that the podcast is such a success, there are people that just feel like, oh, Saul should just go out there and do his own thing. I remember there was a segment that Saul would actually do something. I can't remember what that was, but that segment was not performing well, even still on the podcast. And I think it was something he was doing by himself, if I'm not too mistaken, but it was just not doing well. The numbers were not doing well. The same way that I feel like if it was that MacG was to just have a podcast the way that I do videos like this, it wouldn't be such a success. So the idea of people trying to push these people apart is just crazy. And I hope that they don't all take it into mind and feel like we can just go out there and do our own separate things. I think it would be the worst mistake that they ever do for all of them. Now, I do understand it may come to a point where everybody feels like I just need to do my own thing. But when it comes to like the success rate, I personally feel they will definitely go a lot further and a lot quicker if they just go together. And so that's one of the dangers of starting something with someone. People will always try to pin you guys against each other. It's very sad, honestly. I'm not even going to lie. Saul is very talented on his own. MacG is very talented on his own. Ghost Lady is very talented on her own. And I feel like the three, they make the perfect trio. And so trying to remove even just one, it just imbalances the whole space and the whole atmosphere and everything. And I don't like people that are actually like trying to push that narrative of, oh, Soul is so much better, or MacG is so much better, or Ghost Lady is so much better. You don't need to have someone that is better than others. They all complement each other and everyone holds a place over there. And for the success of the podcast, I think that is best that they stay together and they just do this thing together. So anyone that is like, oh yeah, if this one lives and this, I look at them and I'm like, you don't really wish these people success, because whoever would break away, I personally feel they would not do as good by themselves. Anyway, I love you, ninjas. Stay blessed, and I will see you guys in my next upload. Bye, ninjas.